we had a family getaway. 16 of us went camping. And we went up to the northern Vancouver Island, had a great time, except it almost ended in disaster. Very close. I'll tell you all about it. Hi, I'm Denise and welcome to Travels in My Chair. Join my family and I as we take our last summer vacation, marking the beginning of fall. Boy, oh boy, I'm not ready yet. It just seems like summer's not even over.
That much?
Sure. I'm not even looking. With Seal Bay RV and campground, waiting for my brother and my friend to come visit. It's a very nicely laid out place. Popular, very clean, very well run. A couple of times a year, my family and I try to get away together, and it's hard to coincide with everyone's schedules and things like that, but we plan sometimes a year ahead because of holidays and so forth. And so this time we decided at the end of August to go all the way up between Port McNeill and Port Hardy on Vancouver Island, and we were going to spend time at Cluxewe Resort. Now, in normal cases, I would praise the resort. It's a beautiful place. It's magical. It's right on Broughton Strait on one side, and then there's an estuary and a river on the other. It's run by the First Nations, and it's a very casual resort area, but there's all kinds of wildlife and seals and fish. Everybody's fishing down there right now because it's spawning season, and whales and so forth. So it's generally, I would say, Cluxewe Resort, wonderful. The only problem is that there's a mine nearby now. And I don't know who owns it, or even if it's part of the First Nations group, don't know. However, they work all night, hammering ore. And it's like jackhammers going all night long, and it's affected the water. They won't allow you to drink the water. They don't want your dogs to drink it. You can't even do your laundry in it because it stains it brown. Everything's brown. You can have a shower, but don't ingest the water. And it's been like that for a couple of years, I guess. And it didn't seem to stop the place from being filled. I mean, you have to bring your own water in, but it was still pretty busy. So the first night we stopped at Seal Bay in Comox, so we come off the Sunshine Coast Ferry and then the ferry from Earls Cove over to the Comox. So 2 ferries, and Seal Bay is pretty close, a beautiful campground, so we stayed there the first night and had a friend over for dinner, met my brother and his wife there. And then the next day we started heading up for Cluxewe, and we were meeting my son up there. He was ahead of us, and my daughter was behind us, and my brother was ahead of us. So on we went, and there was a detour near Zabalas, and it was all gravelly and rough and stuff, and about 20 kilometers, I guess, out of Port McNeill, all of a sudden there was a huge explosion at the back of the motorhome, and poor Alan was just wrestling with the steering wheel, trying to hold the vehicle on the road. And because we were carrying all my daughter's camping equipment, my scooter, we had a full load of water, remember, because we didn't have any water up at Cluxewe. We were heavy, and poor Alan. There was a young guy behind us in a truck, and when Alan finally got to manage the vehicle over to the side, he said, "Sir, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you held that thing on the road. I thought you were going over for sure." And we were just lucky that there was no oncoming traffic at the time, but there really wasn't a shoulder to pull over on, so we were kind of perched precariously, And a weird thing happens with our motorhome, White Lightning, ever since we bought him. Something bad. Every time we take him on the road, something always happens. Last year, as you recall, we lost our brakes coming home, like totally lost our brakes. And we made it and met wonderful angels that took care of us and fixed us up. This time, the rear tire exploded, and when it exploded, with the force of it, because we were going between 80 and 100 kilometers an hour, the door of the garage at the bottom of the van that holds the 2 batteries, it blew off. One battery, we didn't know at the time, started leaking acid, and the regulator for the propane tank got broken, so we lost all our propane. Now this could have been so much more worse than it was. I mean, we could have had a fire, an explosion. If the tire that exploded had been the front tire, he would have never been able to handle it. As it was, I remember closing my eyes and praying, please don't let this be the day that I die. Sounds like a song, but anyway. But there's no use in freaking out. Alan was able to get hold of our son Keith, who was already at Cluxewe, and he came down and managed to calm Alan down, because Alan was trying to get the jack out and jack the thing up, and I thought the jack wasn't heavy enough, and I also was scared he was going to have a heart attack or something with all the pressure and the weight that was included. Luckily our spare tire was filled, because our mechanic checks it every time he checks the vehicle over to make sure, and it was a brand new spare. So we phoned our Automobile Association, BCAA, and the young man that came was another one of those angels. He had one of those big industrial jacks with him, and he figured out what was going on, and right away he started jacking up the vehicle. By this time, the boys had been trying to empty everything out of the garage and soon discovered that what they thought was water leaking on the ground was actually acid from the battery. So they were taking any water that we had on board and washing themselves immediately so they didn't get any burns. And the BCAA guy, within minutes, had the thing jacked up. He had all the right tools, had the new tire put on, and Alan gave him a tip. We were so grateful, so grateful. And every time with White Lightning, something bad happens and it turns into something good. I don't know, it's the most amazing thing. Really, in the 13 years we've had them. We made it to Cluxewe. Luckily, everyone was sort of handling food, so we didn't have to worry. We were pretty, I'll admit, very stressed out. I had really not thought that we were going to be alive. That's how close it was. You'd seen that vehicle swerving all over the road. Oh my God. Anyway, we made it. As you can tell, I'm here. And then we got to enjoy 3 days of just fun and eating and being with the kids and the family. A lot of the adults don't want their children shown on screen, so I try to get as much of the back of them as I can. You know, privacy issues and so forth. You've got to be careful.
I could sit in this chair for 1,000 years and watch the woods consume the neighborhood, watch the ambitions come and go, surround me and engulf me. We could ditch the TV and spend a little more time reading books and singing songs on the porch, sit here watching the daylight wane, leaving little trace and even less memory. I just want to be still. I just want to be still. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever be free of these things that are weighing heavy on me, that keep me from doing or going on, knowing the sun comes up, I go back to sleep. In our so-called liberation of self, we have only bound the shackles more tightly free up your mind and start thinking a good thought.
You should start driving.
Free your mind and be still.
We're at the estuary at Cluxewe Resort, out for a walk. So there's a river on one side, and then on the other side, there's the ocean.
No, you just can't see them. They're over there. They're hiding over there.
Where, Dad?
Time has brought
There's a
us up
hyena.
to this
Well, they hear us,
point,
and they...
this far beyond it until we are nothing. Sometimes I feel like we're just words on a page. Close your eyes and be still. Close your eyes and be still. Close your eyes and be still. And be still. In the sweet by and by, we will meet again. Every song, all I hear,
They would eat mountain lion.
you told me then.
Happy birthday.
And it goes like that.
to
The ones where I am, they do hunt, but most of their stuff is from the ocean.
Put on your shoes.
We breed everyone.
Angela,
Hey,
I got my phone. And I have money now.
awesome. Yeah, you should keep that.
Well, when you find it done, what is it?
Me into there you were. The story starts and ends too soon, but I know every word, and it goes like this. 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 April came, the garden grew, time moves forward, and it goes like this, and it goes like this. And it goes like this.
But spending time, that last bit of summer, celebrating before school started with the kids. Special, really special. And I was able to make it yet another year, so that I always mark that another tick on my calendar, you know. So thank you for joining me. I was thinking next time I might talk a little bit about hydromorphone content. I just feel that there's some information there that would be good for you guys that are taking it for pain. So a little bit different than this video for sure, but I'm so glad you joined me, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Love y'all. Bye.